Just when you thought it was safe to go back to grocery outlet, I returned, this time online, as your virtual coach. Welcome back to yet another episode of Your Virtual Coach. Today we're going to mix it up a little bit and have our first guest coach. With me today is someone that we're all familiar with, the homeless guy that we quite often see at track and cross country meets that hangs out with the Casa Grande kids. And whether, I'm not sure if you know this or not, this is actually my brother, Coach Pugh, and he is the head coach of the Casa Grande track and field team and the assistant coach of the cross country team. And he's had a fair amount of success there. Twice he's been named Redwood Empire Coach of the Year for track and field. And I think one of the things that he does well is he gets his kids to race really, really well, especially in big races. And that's something that we're obviously going to need to focus on. So today, hopefully, Jamie or Coach Pugh, not to be confused with Coach Pugh, is going to share a little bit of insight. So what's your basic philosophy of racing?
When you're racing, I believe that it's really important that you give yourself a chance to do your best and to win. You have to put yourself in a position where you can succeed and do your best.
Okay, yeah, I've noticed like your cross-country guys quite often, off the line and in the first quarter mile, you guys get out really, really well, whether it's a big meet or like a Super Septo 16 meet at Spring Lake. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts on that.
Yeah, sometimes we get out a little fast, but it's all right. We like to get out and establish our position and get in a spot where, we're not trapped in a giant crowd of people and they can actually run and get to where they want to be in a race. Just like I was saying earlier, they don't want to be stuck in the middle having to fight with the other teams for position as the race goes on. And usually fairly quickly, most cross-country courses go from a large area down to a single track or a smaller area. And if you're in good position there, then everybody else is clogged in behind you and they can only go as fast as you go.
Yep. Like our first meet of the year will be at Ed Cias down in Martinez. And you come off this field and I don't know, it's maybe 150 meters into the race. It goes down to something that's about 8 feet wide. And definitely you've got to get out there or you're stuck in the back with nowhere to go.
Yep. Similar thing happens at Stanford and a lot of the big meets. There's an advantage to being towards the front when you hit those choke points.
Yep. And I know a lot of times, we go out and we try to run an even pace and, maintain that pace throughout the race and then drop it down at the end. Which I think there's times when you're able to do that, but then when like the big meets roll around and, you're at Woodward Park, and it's just a complete meat grinder, coming off that starting line. Talk a little bit about, the experience that your guys have by the time they get to that point of the season.
At that point, and hopefully by the time if they are making it to state or if they're making it to NCS and those kind of races, the kids are ready to go out and they're ready to run hard. And it's not a big deal when the initial pace of the race is fast at the beginning. Those races have fast paces at the beginning. And one of our goals is we try to get them ready to deal with that pace so that when they hit that and they are in position, they're not freaking out because they've never run that fast before. And they don't think, oh, look at my watch and now I'm way ahead of my pace. Now my whole race is shot. They just know that they're in there to race and they're in the right position and they're around where they should be and they're ready to go.
And so how much of that is coaching and how much of that just kind of happens with your exceptional kids? I know watching Nick Roush race and, just from purely a racing standpoint, I think Nick was one of the best racers we've had in the North Bay for a long, long time. Do you teach him to do that, or is it just something that comes to him, or how does it come about?
We try to get them to look at each race as a race, and we talk to the kids individually about, well, this is what's going to match with their racing strategy. And I mean, Nick was a great finisher, and we told him, if you want to win races, you have to be in the top 4 or 5 coming into the last 800, and you're going to win or do really well. And as long as he could stay there, then he could ride his kick in the finish. Other people we've had where we say, okay, you have to go out and run hard the whole way and push yourself the whole way, like you're right on the edge of going out. But every racer is a little different, and the goal is to figure out what is the best method for you. And really the goal is to put yourself into a position where you have a chance to do your best. I mean, racing is about who comes across the line first or what position you're in. It's not about time. I mean, racing is all about who gets to that finish line first and how many people are in front of you.
Great. Well, that pretty much takes up our time. Thanks for joining us here today. And this is your virtual coach.
And I'm a real coach.
And he's a real coach.
I don't have to be a virtual coach.
And until next time, work hard and think about your racing style and what you can do to make it better for this year.
Not too bad.
Oh, can we, are you gonna do the edits and stuff?
Well, that was a single take, straight through. There's nothing to edit on that. Maybe we'll do